Hello everybody, I'm going to show you the shortcuts on how to finish this assignment. First we're going to explore with Excel, that's your best friend, and then we're going to switch it all over to SPSS, which is your other best friend, but I always start with Excel first. So first assignment, create a set of data that contains an ID as a variable and at least 4 other variables. So let's switch over here. The first one I'm just going to name ID. I'm going to just start with a 1, 2, 3, 4. I personally like to center my stuff. I like it to be a 12. I like to be bold so I can see it because I'm old. And I also like my boxes. So with these 4 right here, if you'll notice when you put your cursor in the bottom right-hand corner, the big white cross changes into a little black cross. When it does that, you can click and drag. And I'm just going to put, I don't know, let's put 22 people on there. There was no sample size, so I don't know how many to put in there, but you can put as many as you want. So there's that one. Ethnicity, let's make this a categorical variable. 1 will be white, 2 will be African American, 3 will be Hispanic, 4 will be Asian American, and 5 will be others. We'll just have 5 groups. So here's a cool trick here. You put your cell right there, you click that cell. You go to, this is called the function bar. You click in there and hit equals. And then we're going to put a function in there, random between. See that? So we're going to simply put 1 is the first number, 5 is the last number, and then the software will go ahead and fill in these cells randomly between 1 and 5, and I'm going to steal these formats here and put it in there. Okay, so again, it does it randomly. So we have a 22 randomly generated ethnicities. Depression, that's going to be a real score. So again, let me get these formats out here so everybody can see everything. We're just formatting all the cells. And then this is cool. Every time you make any kind of change, you'll notice how the randomly ones select all over the place. They just change anytime you want. So I'll show you a trick about how to undo that as well. We're going to go ahead and highlight the data, right-click, copy, right-click, paste just the numbers. See that? Just the numbers. Bam. So that jumping around stuff will stop. All right, depression. Let's put on a depression scale between 1 and 100. Same thing, we're going to type in equal, random between. And let's make the least depressed person about 10, and we'll make the most depressed person, I don't know, about 95. Again, it's going to randomly generate numbers between 10 and 95. See that? Isn't that cool? Now it gets better because I can do the same thing. I'm going to copy the formula, put it in anxiety, and we'll paste it here and drag it here. So everything we have here is going to be randomly generated, except for the ID number, of course. And this is the social economic, SES, social economic standing. Another, how much money they make. Let's change this to salary. Okay, click that cell, and same thing, we're going to go to the function bar, type in equals, and then random between. And let's make the lowest 22,907, and we'll make the highest 94,921, period. Close parentheses. And then we're going to have 22 randomly generated. Isn't that a wonderful thing? So again, I'm just gonna copy, and then I'm gonna paste just the values. Okay, we don't want any formulas in here when we're making changes. So there's your data set. Let's see what we're supposed to do next. All right, at least one of the variables is a nominal, which is the same as categorical, and that would be ethnicity. That's nominal, categorical. And at least 2 related to psychology, depression, and anxiety. And the third one I just threw salary in there because money matters, doesn't it? All right, next. Run descriptive analysis in SPSS. Report your findings in the table. Means, range, standard deviation. Okay, let's just do that. Watch how fast it is in Excel. Just going to scroll up a little bit, and you want the ranges. Actually, just type in mean, standard deviation, and the range, and whatever you want. Let's do the minimum and the maximum. Okay, boom. So there's that. Let me copy this. So you pick the cell where you want it, you click back up into the function bar, you hit equals, and you start spelling average. Average pops up, and it says the average of what? You highlight the data. And there's the average. But now an average for a nominal variable doesn't mean anything, right? So 2.5, that means nothing. So we don't need the mean here. I'm going to delete that. We don't need the standard deviation. We really don't need the range. We don't need the minimum. We don't need any of this stuff for this one. I'm just going to block it out. Boom. Let's go to this one. So now let's do the mean. I'm going to show you a separate way. We're going to go to f of x. Click the little f of x bar. Make sure you're in statistical. And mean is average. Same thing. It asks you where do you want your average from. You highlight the data. Click OK. Bam. There's the mean of that data. I don't need it out to the 100 millionth place value. So I'm going to reduce the number of place values. Let's just do 2. Okay, so there's the mean of depression. Now let's find the standard deviation. Go to the function bar, make sure I'm statistical, scroll down to St. Dev with an S at the end. Where are you? Right? S means sample, P means population. We never get the population. We always get the sample. So same thing, we're going to highlight our data. Click OK. Transfer the stuff over there. Range of the data. Function bar. Make sure you're statistical. Scroll down to R for range. Home on the range. Oh yeah, it doesn't have range. So we'll worry about that later. Now, minimum and maximum. I'm just going to type in equals min. There's the minimum. I want the minimum of this data. Enter. There's the smallest. And then I want the max equals max. That's my grandson's name, Maxo. So we're going to do maximum of this data. Enter. Now the range will simply be the maximum minus the minimum. So I'm going to go back to the range scale. I'm going to click in that. Hold on. So the range is just the difference between the minimum and the maximum. So I'm going to pick that cell. I'm going to go to the function bar, hit equal. I'm going to say, Mr. Computer, take that cell and subtract. And that's just the hyphen thing right next to the plus sign minus that cell. And that is the range, okay? So there's all the data for depression. Here comes the cool part. I'm going to Control C, Control V. What it did was it changed columns. It knew to change columns. Excel is smart, right? Excel is smart. It knew to change columns. I'll do that one more time. Control C, Control V, and there's everything you need, right? So the mean of depression, anxiety, salary, standard deviation, range, blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty easy. So let's figure out what the z-scores are. Remember, the z-scores are the number of standard deviations away any individual piece of data is from that group mean. So we're not going to do ethnicity. Again, categorical variables, none of this stuff applies. Depression, yes. So what's the mean? There's the mean right there, right? 58.68, there's the standard deviation. So let's do some tricks here. We're going to pick that cell. We're going to go to the equal bar, hit enter. Hit equals. And then you're going to tell the computer, take that cell and minus whatever the mean was, when ours was 58.68, and just type that in, 58.68. And then we're going to do parentheses. So that represents the difference between the individual data point and the group mean, and we're going to divide it by the standard deviation. And in this problem, it was 30.42, 30.42. Enter. So that's a z-score, believe it or not. And then we're going to do that. Look at that. Look at that. So those are all your z-scores. They're kind of high. We normally only go to z-scores about 3 place values. And let's bold it. And let's put that in there. And let's make it a little bit bigger. And let's put it in the middle. Okay, there's your z-scores. Now, it's going to get cool up in here because what I'm going to do is simply I'm going to highlight the formula. It's going to need to be fixed, okay? Like this one, the mean isn't 58 point. For anxiety, the mean is 48.91. So I'm going to go in here and change that to 48.91. 48.91. And the standard deviation was 24.11. Where'd you go? 24.11. Enter. So this one, let's make sure it's right. The mean is 48.91 and standard deviation is that. That's right. And there's all those. Yep. Automatically changed them. And so for salary, this little tic-tac-toe thing means you need to open it up a little bit. All right, so for the mean of the salary is that 52922. 52922 point, what was it, 18? Thank you. And the standard deviation was 20861. 20861.16. Enter. Highlight. So there's all your z-scores, right? These are all z-scores. Isn't that amazing? So that's how you do it in Excel. And what does he want? He wants anything identified as a outlier. So anything that's bigger than 2 or less than -2, nothing there. Nothing there. So nothing there. Now remember, all of our data was randomly made, so there is nothing there. But now let me switch this over to SPSS, and you will be amazed how fast this is done. Please hold. Into SPSS, your best friend. You want to make sure you're in the data view. Click the data view down there because we're going to cut and paste the data into the data view. First thing, we're going to get the ID. I'm just going to do them one at a time. Boom, 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 boom. Make sure you're in A1 up here. SPSS does not automatically revert back. So just make sure you're in the right one. So ethnicity, copy, pasty, depression, copy, pasty, anxiety, copy, pasty, salary, copy, pasty. Now you'll notice, You'll notice that there's decimal places in here when you really don't need them. That's just me. It kind of bugs me. So we're gonna take the decimal places down to 0 placement or decimals. And you'll notice the names aren't in yet, so let's put the names in. Remember, with names, with SPSS names, no blanks, no weird symbols, like a tic-tac-toe or the exclamation point or nothing like that. So let's delete those. And delete those. And delete those so we can get them all the same. So watch, I'm going to highlight, copy, pick a cell, any cell. I'm going to paste them, but I'm going to paste them transversely or transposed, which means it puts them from a row into a column or vice versa. So now I copy, And then jump over to SPSS and go to variable view, and hopefully it'll work. Bam. Good. So ID is, it really doesn't matter what you care, but ethnicity is a nominal variable, okay? If it's a nominal variable, we're going to name the levels, right? What do we say? One was white people. Two was African American. American. Three were Hispanic. Four was Asian American. And five was other. Categorical variable. Ta-da! So depression is just a regular number, continuous. We call it scale, scale, scale. Get in there, you scale, scale, scale. So you're set to go. Make sure you save your data. And I think I made a folder for you guys. Fresno, woo! So this is homework, I guess, what, 01, I guess? And I always put the date on there. Again, that's just me. Get out of there. Click save, 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 save. Okay, so what just popped up is your output file. So SPSS has two separate files. One is an input, one is an output. The output ends with .spv, the input ends with SAV. So SAV is the ones with all the numbers on it, is this one. Right, this is the SAV, and the SPV is the other one with all the charts and tables. So I already forgot what he wants. He wants, so means, ranges, standard deviations. Okay, so much easier in SPSS. You simply go to Analyze. There's three different ways. You can go to Frequencies, Descriptives, or Explore. So we're going to go to Descriptives. And again, ethnicity, we don't want any of the measure, what we call the measures of central tendency, because with categorical variables, it doesn't mean anything. The same with ID number. You don't forget that. That's not a variable. But here's your three variables. Click them over there. And we want whatever you want. So I want the mean, standard deviation. We'll take the minimum and the maximum. We'll take the range. And whether they're kurtotic or skewed, but he doesn't want that yet. Click OK. Very importante. Very importante. Look at that little box right there. Save standardized values as variables. In other words, it's going to turn every one of these variable scores into a z-score. Very nice. Okay, so there's the n is the sample size. There's the range of the data. There's the smallest value, there's the largest value, there's the average of the data, and there's the standard deviation of the data. So that was kind of coolio. Now, where are those z-scores, you say? Oh yeah, the z-scores were actually put back on the data set. Say that again, the z-scores actually get created on the data set. So there's the z-scores for depression, z-scores for anxiety, z-scores for salary. So now here's a cool trick in SPSS. You click on the top one, you right click, and you sort descending. In other words, the biggest numbers will be at the top, and everybody else shifted around automatically. So this one has nothing greater than 2, and it has nothing less than -2. Right click, sort descending, same thing. This one is close, but it's not over 2, and it's not less than -2. Right click salary, sort descending, nothing greater than 2 and nothing less than -2. So there are no outliers in this data set. So that's it. I hope that helps. MGZ out. MGZ stands for Math Guy Zero. Yes, yes, I am Math Guy Zero. All right, MGZ out. So while I was watching this over again, he might want you to split up everything into whatever your categorical variables were. So like for us, what would be the average depression for white people, for African American, for Hispanic, et cetera, et cetera. So let me show you how to do that real quick. You go to Analyze, Descriptives, explore, and you put your dependent list, that's depression, anxiety, salary, in this one. And this is going to split everything up by the levels of ethnicity. It's really cool. And then you tell them what you want, just descriptives, it's automatic. And that's fine. And you just click OK. And then you get a giant list of statistics based on the levels of ethnicity. So, and here's how many there were in each group. So here's the long list of statistics. So here's everything about the depression for white people. There's the mean, standard deviation, variance, et cetera, et cetera. African American, Hispanic, Asian, other. So here is the anxiety variable. Same thing, white people, African American, Hispanic. So again, that's one way to split it up. Let me show you another way. It will be your best friend. You're going to go to data. You're going to go to split file. You're going to compare the groups based on the different levels of ethnicity. So it's going to come out much nicer. You're going to go to analyze. You're going to go to descriptives again, because I like the way the tables come out there. And it's going to standardize all the data. I'm going to undo that because we already have them. But now click OK. And this comes out. It breaks down ethnicity. Right, here's the white depression information, white anxiety information, white salary information, African American depression, anxiety. See that? It breaks everything down into one nice, neat table. But I guess I should throw that in there. So MGZ out again. Ciao.